was the best memory you had with the Quran?
Best memory? I don't know. They're all really good memories.
Rick. Never really felt comfortable saying Rick, because first I knew him as Rick. He didn't like that. Then he said Uncle Rick.
Rick is a family. To me, he's my uncle.
Purre le bo amma bluma poba pete pagnyol te ale pe yote le Jesus shine.
My guardian is a sporter. He's like a father figure too.
One of my hero, and also one of my close friends, and also he's become one of my family.
Pargale tugitawa domisipa pargale re wanyate keleke jilomono.
My helper, my sponsor, and it's like a dad to me.
To my white parents.
He's more than one thing to me. He's a helping hand to the family, a family friend. He was also an uncle, and then he also felt like a grandfather that I never knew or met, because all my grandparents, I never really got to know them.
Legoni preni mi pali do pudo kopula heti bale kenenda puni kopula we ito koto ya kopula okuni be tete ma badele little
Blor kolibta mupune baba kwache mero da koda ke usiko. Da blor kone be oda tatu hago awe mi pargale hi chutowera yugi ba tobo.
He's always telling me that the things I should do when I grow up in here in Canada. Very, very kind person, I would say.
The relationship that I have with Rick for more than 50 years is very special. He have heart for other people, and he always pray for us.
He seems like a very strong-willed person to me. He's also very generous, very kind, selfless, and he can be very direct too when he doesn't like something.
Rick is cunning, charming. He's smart, street smart.
Those were Rick's happiest years of his whole life.
We both have Dutch background. Rick's oldest brother was born in Holland.
Yes, my two brothers.
Oh, two? And then the rest of them were
Born here.
5 kids born here.
BC.
Smithers, yeah. Smithers, BC.
Which is 8 hours north of here.
And Rick, his family moved directly up north. So they were in a small town. A lot of Dutch people lived up there. Your family was pretty close in those years, eh, hon?
Yeah.
But all his aunts and uncles came, so they had like a massive amount of family. We just had my mom and dad, only child. and then my mom coming alone. They never had any other family here. Rick would go to all the smaller stores all over BC. He was doing sales, the hardware stores, and say, do you need anything? And they would go through the catalog, place the order of all the stuff that they want to sell in their store. And so his territory was the whole province of BC. So when he was on the road, he would maybe go all the way to the Kootenays, Alberta border for 1 week. Then he would come home for a week. Then he would go to the Okanagan for a week and then come home, right? So the more he sold, the more money he could make. And every paycheck is different too, right? If you have a slow month, then there's no money coming in. If you have a good summer, then yeah, you can afford to you'd be okay. Lindsay.
Well, I went to church and God talked to me in my heart, and then He said that's what I have to do, to look after them. So I did.
That Rick always said, God told me.
Yeah, he said he didn't want to. At the
Did
beginning.
he say that?
Yes,
Yeah, he said he didn't want to. I was like, no, God, I don't want to do that.
my father.
He was scared. But then it turned out to be the most rewarding thing he ever did.
Yes.
I'm so glad he got that opportunity, because those memories, right, it's a life well lived with purpose.
And as you can see we're on the Fraser River, one of the largest rivers in British Columbia. Fishing on the Fraser is a family outing usually. A lot of people use bait, some people use spoons. The Karen people like using bait. The best time to fish is usually end July, August. That's when the river's down to the proper level.
In the past 50 years ago, we usually hang out all the time. He took me there to the game, hockey game, go fishing, do a lot of stuff, and especially on the weekend. And then he have a wife. We usually go picnics by Cottage Lake. And he just treats her like a family. He's a family person.
The thing I remember most is that I was shy to be around the Karen because of the language barrier. And I found that so awkward. Like, how am I going to understand? And how can I? But Rick didn't care about that. Rick always said, oh, well, you draw pictures or you do sign language or we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. And once in a while I'd come along for the ride, but mostly it was him. You had to pick up cow stomach for the Karen.
Yeah.
I mean, all of these things were new to us. Rick would come home with these stories like, oh, you'll never believe what I did today. You'll never believe what I had in my truck. Cow's stomach. And he was just grossing out.
She wanted to cuss out.
Yeah. Was it your mom, right?
Yes.
Probably my
Yeah.
mom.
Yeah. But, things we never heard of before is like, what are they going to do with that? I mean,
Oh, yeah, it's a delicacy.
it's a delicacy, yeah. That was new to us.
Ta kota ke babwali kle abulo le buka thuto pata umule Canada pu na kene awe masepwa le ba betu le kito nui papwe kale kito de chi le nie weni topu de awe masepwa le tapwe o sepwa tani ko nui de awe takutolo yu tapin o bani awe dewe de keep your shoulder strong. Be strong. Awe tenia. Awe dewe talent tinya bani tikwa. Me tikwa rane na taloba le hobu no de bloba.
On my wedding day, and Knowing that he was there for me, it was very like important for me, especially having a dance with him. Cause that day is supposed to be me and my dad, but it meant to be that it was for him.
Obviously, blue with teenage with a cola, the other the poop, I would do your magic, was surely the shirky. The therapy not the name of my blue book. Tagger now where Tagger na me ha ke pila ha ko whoever. Ha the way Don we the Nuki Nui Bloody Manuel Elber.
They gave me a normal childhood, or one that every kid should have. Without them, I probably wouldn't have a puffer childhood, because mom and dad probably wouldn't have the time, you know.
But Rick always had this thing for people that needed help.
Come on, more like this.
Learned a lot too from you guys. You didn't just learn from us. It went both ways. And I remember the Karen coming to our house and touching all the plants in the garden to see what is edible.
Yeah.
And I couldn't believe how much of it you could eat that we didn't even know.
We went to Fort Langley and then we had pizza. Back then we didn't really get to eat pizza. And then we would laugh because of we've never seen like a ball of bread right in the middle of the pizza, and then we kept laughing for no reason. They were Uncle Rick and then Tina was so confused. During those times he took a lot of pictures of us too. So every time I look at those pictures, it's just one of the best memories that I've had.
What's the memory? I always remember that he was telling me that in Canada, if you want your life to be easy, you gotta follow the rule. So many times I was like, fall short and do stuff that I should be doing, and and teenager, and one time I remember the first job I get is as a blueberry picker. I remember I was going all day and the blueberry is not blue no more. It's all green. So I was giving up, and I decided not to go anymore. So I didn't let him know at the time. Then he was get to my house telling me that, oh, you do no more. And he was like, me and my wife had to go pick the blueberry. So he was tears, I never see, even my parents didn't cry in my lifetime. I didn't see my parents cry in front of me like that. I see so much care. You can see him like really tough guy, but in the heart really soft, and the tears in the eye. Even though my brother get into the accident, man, that's tough time. Me and Reg, like, go visit my brother is very hard, man. Having someone who care so much about our correct community is a blessing. The love that they gave us, I will never forget. It's always in my heart.
Page clue. Plot did that show on the way to Jamajaya, the Domowa Kialomono, the Daleki Le Mammy, Le Chebum that I will let Jaya Majaya Kula
Kendani didn't rode you are easy to fly tower. You fly tower the Ichiro, you are a Gachiro, Jiva. Nagawa Machia, little kitten, You go mat how it I would lo min da lo kupale. Agi ki
Awe me pala thapui mo pe o pe he tu thokane o le gide ba o chu clear thapui he o the ko wane te ra de boa te ko wa de bana gene awe te ra de boa an na pe boa bo awe me ame te ra de boa ne te lo te ta ki lo ro wera awe ki de ku lo de pe me sa ra te do ra sikora we heki gada blood amawe ne akete sa kilo ne kiblo se blona ke awe leki ni chamyo aloni chida amata puiwache.
You must be so busy during that time.
Yes, very busy. Not much as a homework. Very busy.
When I was little, I have a lot of memory with him. Like he took me to hospital, he took me to appointment, and then he will wait for me until I was done. And there's a couple times that I have a surgery. He was there for me, like waited for me all day and make sure I come back and safe.
Sometime he took all the children to the movie theater, especially Christmas time. He went around, he have a gift, a present, go to each family, and he give a present, make everybody smile. Every Sunday he go to church, and especially once a year at his church, he have a Christmas program every year. So when he have that, he have a ticket from the church member, and then he hang to all to give to all the correct family member, and we go there. He's the one at the front, and they show us the way where to go, and then we get to go to the church to see the Christmas program. It was beautiful.
We had a lot of dentist appointment. I think we have a lot of cavities back then, and I don't even know. Like I had no idea what the doctor would do to my teeth. All I know is that I trusted him. So then whatever he said yes to the doctor, I'm like okay, and then I would come home with like swollen face and numbness and all that stuff. But over time, we stopped going because our teeth got better, thanks to Uncle Rick.
There was a time when I had to go get a cavity taken out, I think, and I was the only one that time. And then he took me to the toy store, and we got a Batman mobile, because Batman was my favorite superhero. He also bought me Hot Wheels. That was cool. Playing with Tiger. Got mad at him for wrecking it.
Now there's this funny story where I would take shower during midday, and then he was like, "Where did Shiva go?" And then you guys were like, "Oh, she's taking a shower," and he was like, "Who took shower in midday?" And I was like, "Oh, I thought that's normal. Like people take shower at any time, any day."
When I was in Mr. Lee's class, he was a very scary teacher to me. He was, but I still respected him in a way. And there was after school activities. I went and played soccer. When I got home, I totally forgot that I had a math homework I had to do. And when I got home, I freaked out because I was scared that the teacher was gonna get mad at me. So I started crying and lashing out. My parents were like, they couldn't help me with math homework, and I didn't know what to do. So then they called him. It was probably like around 8, but for me at the time, it felt like it was more like 11 or 12 because I was a kid. It felt late. And we drove to his house around that time, and he just helped me do the homework, and that was something I'll never forget. For me, it felt like it was very out of his way to just stay up late and help me understand the math that I didn't understand.
He's the person that show us the way and how to live our life here in Canada, how to live our better life here in Canada.
It's not just he's telling us what to do, but he would take us. He would guide us and like do it with us. So it's very helpful.
Just from watching him, I learned that if you're gonna do something, if you're gonna say you're gonna do something, then you show up and you do it. And then I remember always asking him, "When are you gonna retire?" He always said to me, "I'll work until the day I die." So he was just a very hardworking man, and he was always doing something. You know, he never sat still.
Because we downsized 7 years ago. So 3 years before he got diagnosed, we moved here. And I mean, there's a long wait list to get in to this complex. And so we thought, they said it's like 4-year wait. So we put our name in just thinking we'll just do it in 4 years from now, right? But then all of a sudden they called us like right away. And said, "Oh, we have a corner unit available." And we thought, okay, that's way too soon because we weren't retired yet and we really weren't planning to move at that point. But something kept pushing us to do it. And we put our house up for sale. It sold the same weekend.
The same weekend?
The same weekend. Wow. And we had multiple offers on it. So we thought, okay, we're supposed to go, but we're not sure why. And then we moved here and Rick was not very happy here. So obviously that was God telling us, your life is going to get harder, but you'll have an easier place to live. And so over time, you start to realize what the purpose of things are, right? Hindsight. And then in August, we finally had it confirmed by the neurologist, but I knew. I knew what it was. Because work in the care home, I was quite aware of the symptom. So I was not surprised. Rick does the boxing class for Parkinson's.
Wednesdays and Fridays?
3 times a week in the morning. And then 1 day a week is his speech therapy. So 4 mornings a week, we're busy. Tuesdays are sort of day off. We don't have any appointment. We try to keep it like that. But the illness keeps us busy. It's just unfortunate the symptom set that he has. Because a lot of people with Parkinson's can still walk well and talk well. They have other issues, but he's picked up a couple of the harder ones to deal with. Which, it's hard because you know how active he was, right?
Yes.
And how chatty he was and how involved he loved to be, and it's hard to let that go.
Swallow. Swallow. Swallow, swallow.
It's called micrography. With Parkinson's, almost all of the Parkinson's people have it. Their writing gets smaller and smaller until it's just a line. So Rick's signature now is just a line. He can't write. Yeah, Rick is pretty good at living with the disease. He's very patient. Probably more patient than I am sometimes.
When I first heard of it, I didn't even know I didn't even know about that Parkinson's illness. It was the first time I heard of it, and I had to search it up. And when I read about all the symptoms and conditions, it was really sad. I would never want anybody, especially somebody who's like a family or somebody who's close to me, to ever have this kind of illness, because it's such a cruel thing, you know.
Yeah, when I found out, it's very sad, and when I see him for the last time, I know there's a lot of change, and I just feel, when I found out it's around like COVID time too, so I feel bad that I wasn't there for him.
Pe do chi bli chi pu lo na ta pe te klor ba we na pe klo yi ne ma ba ka no ko ri pe do le ha le rilumulo le chi bli chi pu o ko.
Like to say thank you for everything, and I love you guys a lot. Appreciate it a lot.
I love him for all the things that he's done for our family and for myself, and I will always cherish the memories that we've shared in the past. He's a person I've always looked up to.
Thank you very much to to love us, to care about us in the journey in the future. That we'll be live longer, I would say, to be more healthier.
Very thankful and grateful for all the things that he done for me and for my family.
Possibly ke ondo masiko che ke o lek sayo chowi ke onilo.
I just wanted to say thank you for everything. Thank you for always be there. Thank you for giving me the best childhood memory. Thank you to Uncle Rick for being a part of my life growing up, and same with Auntie Nell for supporting Uncle Rick and helping us alongside of him.
What about Nell? And Nell is a sweetheart.
When I was still lost, he'd ask us that when you go to bed and you put your head on the pillow, if you were to never wake up, do you know where you're going? And I do. I can never forget that questions, and I think it did really impacted me. After my heart was regenerated, that's when I understand. That's when I am sure, like I know where I'm going, or at least be at peace about it and not to think about it from time to time when I lay on my pillow.
Wow. Almost cried.
There's so much to say.